Okay, so number 13, and by the way, I am recording this because of so many people out for various reasons. I am going to put these on Schoology, so that means it's more for the, the point of it is for the quarantine people, but people are at PSAT. Even if you're in here and you want to go back and rewatch it later because you want to go through that problem again, it'll be there. Okay. Now, what I will say about 12 and 13 tomorrow on the test, or Friday on the test, is that I'm going to, kind of like what you see here, you see a 12 and a 13, yes? I'm going to give you two problems, but I'm going to tell you pick one. And I'm going to give you two problems because in my mind, 12 is more designed for elimination. 13 is more designed for substitution. That's in my mind. I'm not saying that's how they have to be done. But I'm going to give you one of each, one similar to 12, one similar to 13, and I'm going to say pick one and do one. So you will only have to do one of these on the test tomorrow, Friday. Okay? So, did you have a question or are you just stretching?
Yeah. Does it record, like your recordings, does it record your sound as well?
It does. Yes. So if you guys watch the recording, I haven't played around to know how much of you guys it picks up. Because on my old Elmo, it picked up me and maybe occasionally, it probably picked up like Justin.
Trevor and me.
Yeah, it probably picks up you guys closest. I don't know on the BenQ how much volume is picked up from out there, but it definitely picks up me. So you're not just watching it, you can also listen and hear the explanation. If you turn your volume on, right? I see so many of you guys watching these in class without the volume. I'm like, that defeats the purpose.
A little bit.
So. Okay. I already kind of alluded. You can do elimination or substitution here. My suggestion is that this one is a little bit more set up for substitution because that one bottom equation just has two variables. So I'm not saying you'd have to, but my pick on this problem is going to be substitution. Now, how does substitution work? Which, by the way, I'm going to number my equations. 1, 2, 3. Maybe you're pros at this and you don't need those 1, 2, 3s up there, but that's how I refer to things. Now, okay, which equation? Pick an equation and solve it for one variable, x, y, or z. Just like in substitution, two equations. Pick an equation, solve it for x or y. Pick an equation, solve it for x, y, or z. Which equation do you guys think we should solve? I agree. I would say equation 3. Because there is a 1x, right? Because there's a 1x, solve it for x. How do I solve this for x? If it's x plus 4z, subtract 4z. And so we end up with the equation x equals, Justin's going to tell me 3 minus 4z.
Yeah, you go.
Some of the rest of you are going to tell me negative 4z plus 3. I don't care which way you go. Okay, so this is my solved equation. This is what I'm going to use to substitute. Okay. Once I have one of my equations solved, what do I need to do? Okay, take one of the other equations and plug it in. So in this case, it's going to be every place we see an x, I'm replacing with 3 minus 4z. So if I use equation 1 here, which is currently negative 3x plus 2y minus 2z equals negative 1. Every place I see n, x, I'm putting this 3 minus 4z. So, negative 3 times x. 3 minus 4z. Then write the rest of the equation. Still plus 2y. Still minus 2z. still equals -1. Okay, we see parentheses. What do we do with parentheses? We're going to distribute. So -3 times 3, -9. -3 times -4z. Negative times negative makes it positive. So plus 12z. Still plus 2y. Still minus 2z. Still equals -1. Okay. What kind of steps do I need here? Okay. Combine like terms, which I see I'm assuming Justin's referring to the 12z and the minus 2z. What is 12z and minus 2z? 10z. So I'm still going to have -9. 12z minus 2z is going to be plus 10z. I still have a 2y. And it still equals -1. What else do I need to do? Okay, get it so your variables are on the left. Plain numbers, constants on the right. So we want it in standard form. So if it's -10, we're going to, excuse me. If it's -9, we're going to add 9. If I add 9 on the left, add 9 on the right. -9 plus 9 will cancel. 10z plus 2y equals 8. Okay. You guys want me to leave it like this right now? You can leave it. If you'd rather flip it and make it alphabetical, you can do that. Yeah, but flip. That's why I was just looking in the answer key. I flipped it. I'm not saying you'd have to. Okay, you could either way. If we flip it, it's 2y plus 10z equals 8. What am I going to call this? I'm going to call this equation 4. Okay. So that's my equation 4. We took our solved equation, which was 3. We plugged it into 1. Now, repeat that process, but with the other equation we haven't used. So now the equation I haven't used yet is 2. Let me write out 2, which is -4x plus 3y plus 5z equals 0. Every place I see an x, I'm going to replace it with 3 minus 4z. So, write this equation out. -4x, except x is 3 minus 4z. Finish writing your equation. It's still plus 3y. It's still plus 5z. And it equals 0. Just don't look at what I was writing there. Okay? I don't know. How did a 0 become a 10 in my brain? Got nothing there. Just, if I miss it, catch my mistakes for me, okay? Don't let me go too far in making that mistake, because that's not good. Okay. What? It would be really mean. It's a big waste of our time. So we'd have to go back and redo half the problem. Okay. I caught my mistake this time. I just don't always. Okay. Parentheses tell me to distribute. Negative 4 times 3, negative 12. Negative 4 times minus 4z plus 16z plus 3y plus 5z equals 0. No magic tens this time. Okay. What things would you like me to do? Okay. We combine like terms. I see 16z and 5z. 16z and 5z is going to be 21z. So we still have negative 12 plus 21z. We still have 3y equals 0. We need to keep our variables together, move the constant, and so how do I move the negative 12? We add 12. If I add 12 on the left, add 12 on the right. So now 12's cancel. 21z plus 3y equals 12. You can leave it like this, or since I flipped the last one, I should probably flip this one. So I'm going to write this as 3y plus 21z equals 12. And I'm going to call this equation 5. Okay. Whether we started with elimination or whether we started with substitution, we have equations 4 and 5 now. What?
Yes, substitute or eliminate. Or so you
Put them together, and I usually try and eliminate. You could do substitution here. Okay, I usually go for elimination. So I'm going to go up here and write my equations. So 4, I have 2y plus 10z equals 8. And 5, I have 3y plus 21z equals 12. To me, I see elimination here. Neither of those equations looks nice to solve for x or y. So to me, the question becomes, do I want to eliminate y's or do I want to eliminate z's? Definitely y's, because I don't feel like making 10 and 21 210 would be the smallest number there. 2 and 3 can become 6, right? Because 2 times 3 is 6. So you use 6. So the top equation, what do I multiply the equation by to get this 2 to become a 6?
3.
We multiply the whole top equation by 3. The bottom equation, what do I multiply 3 by to get it to become 6?
-2.
Okay, 2 is the minimum requirement. I do agree that I would multiply by -2 because we prefer opposite signs, right? Okay. Let's rewrite what these new equations are.
Could you flip those, like do -3 and +2?
Yes, you could flip those and do -3 and +2. That is all in the eye of the beholder. So, what did I do on here? I tend to do my negative on the bottom, but there are also times I tend to do my negative on the smaller numbers. So, okay, top multiplied by 3 becomes 6y plus 30z equals 24. Bottom equation, multiplying by -2. -6y minus 42z equals -24. My 6y's, positive 6y, negative 6y, so opposite signs I'm going to add. 6y plus -6y cancels, that's 0, which is what I want. 30z plus -42z, -12z. 24 plus -24, 0. Please don't stop here and say no solution because there's a 0.
No solution.
You can divide.
0 is still usable depending on the situation. This is negative 12 times z. How do you solve if it's negative 12 times z?
Divide.
You divide. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 12. Well, what is 0 divided by anything? 0. So one answer is 0. I hope. Assuming I haven't made a mistake here, right? Okay. Am I done?
No.
No.
You have to find x and
We have to find x and y. What are options of how we can find x and y?
2 or z.
Okay. A lot of times we'll say use equation 4 or 5, right? So if we use equation 4 or 5, preferences, you guys are going to tell me 4, aren't you? So 4 is 2y plus 10z equals 8, except z is 0. So 2y plus 10 times 0 equals 8. 10 times 0 is 0.
2y.
If 2y equals 8, divide by 2, and y is 4. That wasn't horrible. I got z and I got y. So after we use equation 4 or 5, now we usually go back and use 1, 2, or 3. Okay, and again, you can be flexible on these, right? So out of 1, 2, and 3, I don't know about you guys, but 3 definitely looks easy for me. I mean, what have I not found? X, right? And you can actually use the equation that is x equals 3 minus 4z. So x equals 3 minus 4 times 0. 4 times 0 is 4 or 0, so we have 3. And that came from right there. How would I like you to write your answer? XYZ, ordered triple, which means 340 is how we are counting today.
So I have a question.
Uh-huh.
If our z is 0, and we were to plug it in like one of those like 3-dimensional graphs, right? Wouldn't it just be like just a normal 3-4?
Yes.
Because the z 0. So could we simplify it?
Should be like a 2D graph.
No. Yeah, it was 0.
Nope, we still need a z value. Interesting question, and I see what you're asking.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you're asking. But yep. Okay. Guys, practice these types of problems, yes? You will see a problem of this type on the test. This is not just going to be like a 1 or 2 point problem, right? So those of you that opt to skip it are going to miss probably 6 points right off the bat. Because if I recall, I think I made this a 6 point problem. That's a chunk, right? Now, if you choose to start it and something goes astray, you're still at least going to get partial credit, right? You know, if I can see some attempts, some, head in the right direction, you're going to get some partial credit. But if you don't even start it, I can't give you partial credit.
May don't get quarantined at home.
Hello. Yes. I do not. She is in the PSAT this morning. So you'll have to give her, I'm hoping you're giving her a parking permit. Well, find her after 4th hour, or during 4th hour. They're testing up through 4A. Okay? You're welcome. Okay. It's 50-50 shot when Officer Franklin calls.
I trust him.
Huh?
Still Justin by.
Yeah, it was Hannah, so that was a permit.
She didn't have.
She just got her license yesterday.
Yesterday.
Which is why when he said Hannah, I knew that that's what it was.
I say he just brought mine to me.
Wow.
Here, like thanks.
Okay. Other questions? Okay. We don't really have a whole lot of time. First of all, did you guys catch on 14 and 15? It says write a system of 3 equations. Do not solve.
Why do we not solve it?
Okay, so my reasoning for not solving. As you see by the BenQ right now, it takes a lot of work to solve a system with 3 equations. That's a system that I give you that you know works out correctly. If you have to write your own system of equations and you make a mistake, then you're trying to solve something that's not even going to work out. That would be the most frustrating test ever. I want to see can you write the equations for it. Okay? So look at those equations. Check with me and see if you have questions. Understand how to write those types of equations. The graphing. So numbers 1 and 2. There are equations, and it says solve by graphing. You're putting those equations in what form?
Oh, Y equals MX.
Y equals mx plus b, and you are looking for where the equations meet cross. Okay? 3 and 4. It says solve the inequalities. So there's less than greater than signs. So again, it's y equals mx plus b form, unless it's an absolute value v. And then what are you looking for when you graph those? Greater than less than, which means we're going to shade, where does the shading overlap? Okay? 5 and 6 are substitution. 7 through 10 are elimination. Practice those varieties, right? And then number 11, the other one I haven't talked about. Write a system of equations and solve. That one I'm having you solve because it's only 2 equations. Okay? Not nearly as time consuming and whatnot. You guys know well enough now. You know what types of questions you're going to see on the test. Okay? Just stuff just like what you're seeing on this review worksheet. So the more you practice the review worksheet, the better off you'll be ready for this test. Okay? Take a blank piece of paper, rework some of these problems on your own. Okay? Go back and rework problems from the notes, whatever it takes. Okay? This will be your first big grade on the new 9 weeks, so that could be good or bad. Okay?